Barron Trump speaks out in a live debate to defend Melania, and what happens next is shocking. The camera zooms in on a quiet evening in America. It's the kind of evening where families are gathered together, watching the latest news unfold on their TV screens. The atmosphere is filled with tension as a live debate rages on in Washington, D.C. on the Senate floor. The air feels thick with anticipation. The news anchor's voice booms, setting the stage for the next heated exchange. But then, in a moment that no one saw coming, a comment crosses the line. The voice of Senator Grayson rises above the din, dripping with sarcasm and personal attack. Perhaps if some people spent less time modeling handbags and more time reading the Constitution, he says, his words laced with an undercurrent of mockery, this country wouldn't be in chaos. The room falls silent. For anyone else, it might seem like just another offhand remark, another jab from the world of politics. But for Melania Trump, the target of this cruel insult, it's more than just words. It's an attack on everything she stands for. A former First Lady, a mother, an immigrant who built a life in a country that promised hope and opportunity. For Melania, the sting of such a comment is deeper than just a personal blow. It undermines the sacrifices she made, the challenges she faced, and the love she gave to her family. Enter Barron Trump. At just 18, Barron is no stranger to public life, but he's always kept a low profile. The cameras, the public scrutiny, it all seemed far removed from his daily life. Until now. Sitting at home in Florida, watching the broadcast unfold, Barron's face hardens. His expression shifts from passive indifference to something deeper. Anger, hurt, and most importantly, resolve. His mother, the woman who raised him, was being ridiculed in front of millions of viewers. No one was going to stand by and let that happen. As the debate continues, Barron is left with a choice. He could sit idly by, continue watching in silence, or he could take action. But this isn't just about defending his mother. It's about doing what's right. It's about standing up for love, respect, and decency. It's a decision that will change everything. And as Barron stares at the screen, a thought flickers in his mind. This isn't how I want the world to see my mother. He grabs his phone, hesitates for a second, and then dials a number. His hands tremble not from fear, but from the weight of the decision he's making. In a voice that cracks with emotion, he says, "I need to speak up. It's time." The camera cuts to Barron Trump, sitting quietly in the living room of his family's Florida mansion. His brow is furrowed, his fingers tightly gripping the edge of his chair as he listens to the ongoing debate. The anger in his chest is undeniable. But it's not just his anger. It's the feeling of helplessness that floods him. He's 18, and yet the world still sees him as just another child of privilege. What could he possibly do to make a difference? The words of the senator echo in his mind. Perhaps if some people spent less time modeling handbags. It's not just an insult to his mother. It's a slap to every woman who's ever been judged for what they do, or who they are, instead of who they truly are. Barron has spent his life watching Melania, his mother, handle the public eye with a grace and strength that most people couldn't fathom. He's seen the hurt behind her calm exterior, the silent tears when she'd go to bed after a day full of scrutiny. And yet, every time, she rose again. She was resilient. And now it was time for him to rise. Barron stands up abruptly, his mind racing. What if he thinks? What if he didn't just sit on the sidelines like so many before him? What if he could make his voice heard? He starts typing a message on his phone, his heart pounding in his chest. The words don't come easily, but they flow with conviction once they do. He wants to speak out? No, he needs to speak out. He doesn't want to just post on social media like anyone else. No, this moment deserves more. It's not just about defending his mother. It's about showing the world who she truly is. His fingers fly across the screen, crafting a message that feels more like a plea than a statement. But then, the more he thinks about it, the more an idea strikes him. This has to be bigger than just an online post. This has to be live. His mother's dignity, her grace, those things can't be captured in a tweet. He needs to stand tall, on live television, and speak from the heart. He needs to remind everyone watching that kindness, respect, and love are far more powerful than hate and division. Barron reaches out to a family friend, a media insider he knows through his father. The The conversation is brief but urgent. He explains his idea with a voice that trembles, not from uncertainty, but from the sheer gravity of the moment. "I need to do this," he says firmly. "It's not just about me. It's about my mother's honor. I can't stay silent anymore." The media insider hesitates, unsure if Barron's plan is realistic or even wise. But after a long pause, the insider finally agrees. "All right, kid, let's make it happen." Barron hangs up the phone, his body tense with anticipation. His decision is made, and there's no going back. But there's one person Barron needs to talk to first: his mother. He finds Melania sitting quietly in the living room, lost in thought. He's never been great at expressing his emotions, but today, he's not holding anything back. "Mom," he begins, his voice barely above a whisper. "How do you handle it? The things people say about you?" Melania looks up, her face softening as she meets his eyes. She knows what's coming, and the weight of his question doesn't escape her. She sits next to him, takes his hand, and looks into his eyes that have always been filled with understanding, compassion, and now, something else, anger. "People will always talk, my son," she says, her accent as warm as it is comforting. "But you must choose who you are and stand tall. Their words cannot define us." Barron looks at his mother, the woman who has faced so much ridicule and scorn, yet continues to carry herself with such dignity. The tears that have been threatening to spill finally do. His voice cracks as he says, "It's not fair. You've done so much for this country, for our family, and they don't see it. I want to defend you, Mom." Melania's eyes soften, and she pulls him close, whispering in his ear, "Defending someone you love is noble, Barron, but remember, do it with grace. Do it with truth." In that moment, Barron knows exactly what he has to do. The fight isn't just about standing up for his mother. It's about showing the world the strength that runs through her veins, the strength that has shaped him into who he is. And most importantly, it's about showing that standing up for what's right doesn't require the loudest voice. It requires the clearest voice, one that speaks the truth. With a deep breath, Barron wipes his tears away and stands tall. The next step is clear. He's not just going to speak for his mother. He's going to show the world what true strength, courage, and love look like. The day has arrived. The live broadcast is just about to begin. The debate hall is buzzing with reporters, cameras, and politicians in their sharp suits. The tension in the air is thick, like the calm before a storm. Barron Trump, sitting at home with his family, is far from calm. His mind is racing. His resolve is unwavering. But the weight of the moment presses down on him with each passing second. His mother's honor, his family's honor, hangs in the balance. Barron glances at his mother, Melania, sitting quietly across the room, her face stoic, but her eyes betraying a quiet sadness. He knows this isn't just about politics for her. It's personal. It always has been. Senator Grayson's previous remarks still echo in Barron's mind. Perhaps if some people spent less time modeling handbags, the words wrapped in disdain are an assault not just on Melania's character, but on her identity as a woman, as a mother, as an immigrant who has worked tirelessly for everything she has. The debate kicks off, but Barron can barely focus. He's already made up his mind. His heart is pounding as the hours tick by. He can't wait any longer. The silence has become unbearable. His mother deserves better than this. The world needs to see the truth, the strength, the grace, the dignity that she has shown through every attack, every insult, every judgment. As the debate continues, the familiar voices of senators fill the room. They argue policies, they bicker over details, and then, as if on cue, Senator Grayson cuts through the conversation with another personal jab. If some people spent less time modeling handbags and more time learning the Constitution, maybe this country wouldn't be in chaos. Grayson sneers, his voice dripping with contempt. Barron's fists clench. He feels the anger welling up inside of him. This is it. This is the moment he can't stay silent anymore. He stands up abruptly, his heart thudding loudly in his chest. His family watches him with wide eyes. Melania's gaze is steady, but there's a flicker of worry in her eyes. "Barron, don't do this," it says. But he knows he has no choice. Without saying a word, Barron grabs his jacket, his voice barely a whisper as he turns toward the door. I have to do this, Mom. He doesn't wait for a response. He doesn't need to. This is his fight now, and nothing will stop him. Outside, Barron takes a deep breath as he steps into the car, his mind racing even faster than his heart. He reaches for his phone, the number of the media insider still fresh in his mind. His fingers hover over the screen for a moment before he dials, a sense of finality filling him. I'm coming to the studio, he says firmly. I'm doing this live. No more waiting. The drive to the studio feels like an eternity. Barron can hear the pounding of his heart in his ears. This is it, the moment where everything changes. He's not just a kid in the shadows anymore. He's stepping into the light, ready to face the world. And he's going to do it for Melania, for the woman who has always shown him what real strength is. The world may have tried to silence her, but it will never silence him. When he arrives at the studio, it's a whirlwind of movement. The chaos of last-minute preparations for the live broadcast contrasts sharply with the calm, determined look on Barron's face. The producers and crew buzz around him, recognizing him almost immediately. Whispers float through the air. Is that Barron Trump? One of the producers steps forward, trying to usher Barron back, but he's resolute. He steps past the guard, his voice firm. I'm not just anybody. I need to speak. I need to address what was said. Now. The producer hesitates for a moment, taken aback by Barron's seriousness, before nodding. All right, kid, but make it quick. As Barron walks towards the stage, the atmosphere shifts. The debate continues, but all eyes are now on him. The camera follows his every move, zooming in on his tall frame and serious expression. His presence is undeniable, and as the doors to the debate hall open, a hush falls over the room. Senators, reporters, even Senator Grayson, all freeze in their seats, caught off guard by the unexpected interruption. Excuse me for interrupting, Barron begins, his voice steady but filled with emotion. He locks eyes with Senator Grayson, his gaze unwavering. But I can't stay silent anymore. A collective gasp ripples through the room. Senators exchange confused glances. The audience in the gallery watches, bewildered. Grayson, initially stunned, leans back in his chair, his smug grin replaced by an air of confusion. He raises an eyebrow, clearly unsure of what to make of this unexpected intrusion. And who are you to interrupt this debate? Grayson sneers, his tone laced with condescension. Barron doesn't flinch. His voice rings out loud and clear, stronger than it's ever been. My name is Barron Trump, and I'm here to defend my mother. The words hit like a thunderclap. The entire room falls into a deep, stunned silence. Barron continues, his voice trembling at first, but growing stronger with each word. You don't know my mother, he says, his gaze locked firmly on Grayson. You don't know the sacrifices she's made or the strength she carries every day. She's not just a former First Lady. She's a mother. She's an immigrant. She's a human being. The weight of his words is felt across the room, across the country. Some of the audience wipe their eyes. The silence is deafening, as if the world itself has stopped turning to listen. Barron's voice, filled with raw emotion, cuts through the tension like a knife. Your words hurt more than just her, Barron continues, his eyes scanning the room. They hurt everyone who values respect, everyone who values dignity. As Barron finishes speaking, the room remains still, like the calm after a storm. For the first time, the senator's smile falters, his bravado slipping. The audience watches in complete silence, unsure of how to respond. But as Barron stands there, unmoving, one thing is clear. His message has been heard. This isn't just about defending his mother anymore. It's about standing up for what's right, for what's just. And it's about sending a message to the world that kindness, respect, and courage have the power to change everything. The silence in the room is palpable. Senator Grayson, who only moments ago had been basking in the spotlight of his snide remarks, now looks uneasy, his smirk fading into a tight-lipped frown. The cameras, once aimed at the debate stage, now pivot, capturing every tense moment as Barron Trump stands in the center of the room, unyielding and resolute. The audience, reporters, and politicians alike are stunned, unsure of how to respond to this unexpected turn of events. Barron stands tall, his gaze unwavering as he faces the room. His words, still hanging in the air, are impossible to ignore. He has broken the political script. He has shifted the conversation from policy to something deeper, something more human. It's not about his mother's status, not about her time as First Lady, not even about the political debate itself. It's about integrity, respect, and defending a woman who, despite being under constant scrutiny, continues to carry herself with dignity. Barron's sudden intervention leaves everyone speechless, including his mother, Melania, who watches from behind the scenes, her heart swelling with pride, but also with disbelief. This is her son, speaking for her in a way that only a child who truly understands the weight of her experiences could. As the camera zooms in on Barron, the live broadcast goes quiet for a moment. The political pundits who had been eagerly awaiting the usual back and forth have now been thrown off guard. One reporter, a seasoned political analyst, finally finds her voice and murmurs in her microphone, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is unprecedented." The broadcast cuts back to the studio as the anchor, trying to regain composure, begins to ask questions. But Barron is already in full stride, his voice cutting through the air like a knife. "What's happening here is bigger than politics," Barron continues, his words steady but filled with emotion. "This isn't just about a first lady or a public figure. This is about what it means to be a family. This is about how we treat people, regardless of their background. My mother is more than the criticism she faces. She is strong. She has always been strong. And that is what matters. The world is watching now." And Barron's impromptu speech, filled with raw emotion and unwavering conviction, has taken the debate off course. The cameras follow him, capturing every moment of his declaration. For the first time in a long time, the media is focusing not on the usual partisan fights, but on the human element that has been missing in so many political discussions. Barron's interruption has shifted the tone of the conversation entirely. The rhetoric of political discourse is replaced with something far more personal and real. It doesn't take long for social media to erupt. Within moments, clips of Barron's speech are trending everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all flooded with reactions from millions of viewers. People are stunned by the courage of this young man, a teenager, standing up not only for his mother, but for the values that many feel have been missing in the public sphere for too long. Hashtags like hashtag Barron Trump Speaks, hashtag Defend Melania, and hashtag Family Over Politics begin trending worldwide. It's a moment that's impossible to ignore. In the days that follow, Barron's impassioned speech dominates the headlines. Political commentators, once known for their hard-hitting commentary, now grapple with how to respond. Some are forced to acknowledge Barron's poise and maturity, praising him for defending his mother with such strength. Others, however, question how a teenager could have more emotional intelligence than seasoned politicians. The media, so often known for their divisiveness, now finds themselves in a quandary. How do you criticize a young man who has spoken from the heart? Even the political adversaries who have been critical of Melania find themselves in a difficult position. Some attempt to backpedal, issuing statements of regret, acknowledging the personal toll such attacks take. Others try to twist the narrative, but the public isn't buying it anymore. Barron's words have touched a nerve, and the conversation has shifted. What started as a typical political exchange has now transformed into a discussion on the dignity of individuals, regardless of their political affiliations. Barron Trump has done the impossible. He has brought a sense of humanity back to a process that had, for too long, been consumed by personal attacks and animosity. Back at home, Melania is watching the news unfold. She's not one for public attention, but this moment is different. This is her son, speaking up for her in a way that no one could have predicted. For the first time, she feels a sense of relief. Her son has defended her in the only way that matters, by speaking the truth. It's a moment she will cherish forever, a testament to the values she has instilled in him. But it's not just Melania who feels the weight of Barron's words. The entire country seems to be re-evaluating the way they discuss public figures, especially those in the Trump family. Barron's bold statement has sparked a broader conversation about respect, honor, and the power of words. In an era where divisiveness often reigns, Barron's unexpected intervention serves as a reminder that there is still room for kindness, for standing up for what's right, and for protecting those we love. And as the media continues to cover the aftermath, it becomes clear Barron Trump is no longer just the son of a former First Lady. He's a voice of reason in a polarized world, a symbol of strength for those who have long been marginalized, and a powerful reminder that integrity, respect, and family always come first.